All right, we are live, and hopefully we're not too choppy. Not sure which end it's on. It may be mine,
How do
probably.
I sound? Am I all choppy and breaking up?
To me, you are. Well, maybe somebody can let us know in the comments who's choppier.
Yeah, Shelman. All the mail is going out tomorrow morning. She's actually in the office working on that right now.
Okay. Yeah, I when that live was going on, I was in the middle of working on that guy right there,
Yeah, I
and
saw that when you posted that.
I was like, I didn't even realize I'd won something. Then I seen Shellman won something, and Mrs. Square Body won something. I didn't get back to you in time to say just re-gift our stuff because, but it's all good, I guess.
We got Chucky's Garage here. How's it going, Nathan?
All right, okay. So you can see the chat. So this will work out great for tonight because I just couldn't figure out a good topic. I thought, well, this might be a good night because I'm not feeling very inventive to just
I'm never feeling
to
very inventive. We got
yeah
every truck experience.
to just go from see what the people in the comments want to talk about. So yeah, we got Ugly Truck, Shellman, Chucky's in here. Of course, quality control. She's keeping track of everybody. Yeah,
Is
we'll
quality control not a mod anymore?
uh should be.
I don't think she is. The only one that's highlighted is Shellman. I don't know if you
Well,
noticed, but we had to resubscribe to Square Body stuff.
oh really?
Yeah, I don't. I think it was either this morning or yesterday. She got in there. She looked and Amber says she is. I'm just confused about how it looks. I'm not. I'm my chat is different than yours when I'm on this end. Got Busted Grill Garage, Johnson Speed
Yeah,
Machine. That's Jeffrey.
yeah. Busted Grill is Jacob, the one I went on the road trip with here last weekend or weekend before, whenever that was.
Hello,
Yeah,
Jacob.
weekend before.
So Chucky's Garage says, "What made y'all want to start a YouTube channel?" As a topic.
Okay. Well, I'll let you take off with that, Travis.
So I don't even remember. I guess so. How it started is I'm a closet gamer, and I play a lot of Minecraft. I not so much anymore, but I did for a long time. Played a lot of Minecraft, and so I saw these people making videos on YouTube, and I'm like, I could do that. So I talked about it a little bit, and then my daughters were like, "Oh, you could do that." So I did that, and then I realized that's a lot of work, and it made it not fun to play Minecraft anymore. So I just quit.
Yeah,
And then Amber and I actually Amber created the Perpetual Projects YouTube channel. She was going to make craft videos on it, and she made a couple of videos, and she lost interest in that. And then I was doing woodworking, and I was just like, this would be kind of fun to share. And I had some ideas and some things that I could do. So I started making videos with the woodworking stuff, and then I got burned out on woodworking. And I've always been into cars. I took a break there for a while, but obviously I'm knee deep, neck deep now, maybe underwater, but
yeah,
and it just felt natural just to make videos on the cars and kind of share some of the crazy stuff that we get up to and the way that we build stuff in a way that's not spend all your money and buy all the fanciest parts. A lot of use whatever you can
yeah,
find and just put it together and make it work kind of thing. And that's how we got into YouTube.
yeah. And that's why mine's similar to, well, not similar. Mine was my initial start to YouTube was, well, I've got a couple other YouTube channels. One is old, and it's a whole different subject. it was on, and that was back before I knew what YouTube really was. I just thought it was a way to just put videos up for other people to look at. I didn't know it was this has been 10 or so years ago, but when I was doing chainsaw stuff. But what got me into the square body stuff was, I just wanted to just share with everybody. I was on Facebook and other social media things, like, trying to share my knowledge, I guess, of the square bodies, which isn't all knowing, but I do know a lot about them, and just general mechanics. I was wanting to share that with the world, but trying to type every answer to every question on Facebook, I can't do that. I'm hard. It's hard for me to do that. So if I just made videos, and then when a question came up and I had a video about that question, I could just post a link to my video and help somebody out.
Yeah.
And that's really kind of how it started. And then, it's progressed from there. I still try to have my bread and butter is my how-to stuff. But with this particular channel, that's how I got started with it, is just wanting to share, general how-to stuff. And, because I know square bodies are getting more and more and more popular every day, it seems like.
Yeah.
It's a smaller niche, and I knew that getting into it. I never expected it to even get where I'm at right now, with just kind of focusing on square body trucks. But it's got me where I am, and I'm grateful for it. But it just all started with just trying to share what I've got going on in the shop. Working on my trucks, just doing what I do anyways.
Yeah, and that's to this point, the only project that we've bought and totally had for YouTube was the Mustang. We never, everything we've done so far, it was all stuff that we already had that we just were working on anyway. I mean, we've had this Jeep that we're working on now for probably going on 4 or 5 years. It's been sitting for the majority of that, but we've had it forever. And so we're kind of hopefully going to run out of projects, but that's kind of the thing is, and that's when we started the channel. She's like, well, what should we call it? And I think we started out, our original name was Never Ending Projects. I'm like, well, that doesn't really sound that good. And so then I'm like, what about perpetual projects, like perpetual motion, but our projects are perpetual? And she's like, yeah, that was actually in our info when we first started, is if your projects are perpetual like ours.
Yeah, so, never ending. Yeah. All right. So,
can you see the chat, or you?
What's that?
Can you see the chat, or you want me to read it to you?
No, I'm gonna address this one right here.
I figured you want to answer that one.
Would you rather have a 305 supercharged, turbocharged, or NA with NOS, and why? All right, so I think that probably is directed towards me.
I would think so too.
Actually, if I had my preference, I would rather have probably supercharged. As far as, initial cost to set up, probably about the same as turbo or nitrous. And I don't know, maybe, well, it's hard to say. Between supercharged and turbocharged is where I'd rather like to be, because nitrous is fun, but it's only fun as long as your bottle's full. And you got to keep the bottle full. You can't use it all the time. Supercharged or turbocharged, you can enjoy them all the time. And really, the initial investment, looking back, would probably be the same as what I did with setting up nitrous. Nitrous looked cheap to to begin with, but if you're going to really set up a good nitrous system, you've got to have a standalone fuel system. You got to have, a whole nother fuel system. Yeah. And you just can't enjoy it every time you drive it.
You can if you invest in a refill station and some other bottles.
Yeah, but that gets expensive, and I don't think the legalities of I don't think you're really supposed to have nitrous on a street vehicle. I'm not real sure about the legality part of it, but supercharged or turbocharged, it's no big deal. So I would rather have, and that's eventually what I'm going to go to one of these days with this 339 I'm building, is I want to actually go to either turbo or supercharged with it eventually. But we're going to have some fun with the nitrous first.
So just to piggyback on that, I think nitrous, as far as just getting something, spraying something on the cheap, is probably the cheapest way to go, unless you go like super cheap eBay turbos. But to do it right, like you're talking about with standalone fuel systems and progressive controllers and all the stuff that you should have to safely spray it, I definitely agree. But
yeah,
I think I would go turbo more so than supercharged. And my reasoning for that is, especially if it's a street driven car, a supercharger, if the engine's spinning, it's making boost, right?
Yeah.
Whereas a turbocharger, if you're not hard in the throttle, you can limit that boost to an extent. Yeah. And I feel like you could keep a lot of the normal street manners and still have the turbocharger. But if you're going to be wide open throttle everywhere you go, it probably doesn't make a difference anyway, which if you have a good turbo car, you probably would be.
Yeah, and that's the thing with between supercharged and turbocharged. It's a little, well, I don't have experience with either one of them, so from my point of view, from what I've seen, is a little finer line between that kind of boost versus liquid boost, because that's all nitrous is a liquid boost. But yeah, I'd like to go turbo because actually turbos are less. It's free horsepower. It doesn't take any extra horsepower to run a turbo versus a supercharger.
Yes.
A supercharger, it takes a certain amount of power to run a belt-driven supercharger, whether it's a Roots type or a belt-driven, centrifugal type.
Yeah.
Either way, it takes horsepower to drive those. Versus turbo, it's free horsepower because you're just using exhaust gases to make the extra horsepower, to make the extra boost. So, yeah, Ugly Truck Experience says Perpetual Project is a great name for it, and I've always thought it was. I've always liked the name of your channel because that kind of embodies most of our lives. I mean,
yeah, and that's why it kind of felt like I had a moment of genius, which doesn't happen very often when I thought of that perpetual projects, because everything is perpetual. Every project, every car that I own is a perpetual project.
Yep. Well, yeah. I mean, look, this is my daily driver, and he's playing Lieutenant Dan right now with no legs on him because he's even though I try to drive him every day, he's still a perpetual project. I've always got stuff I want to do to this truck. My crew cab that I've had for almost 20 years now, that's always been a perpetual project since day one. So that the name of your channel is perfect for no matter. It doesn't matter what the content is, because every project tends to be a perpetual project if you keep it.
Yes, as long as you own it.
And Jay is just here to see a man about a horse. Well, I've got one horse, and he ain't much account sometimes, but he's my horse.
And I don't have any horses.
Quality Control says, I do feel the good shout of being
So,
good too, but it reminds me of
so,
yeah.
and the reason it reminds her of work is because that's the name of my mechanic shop that I had when I worked on big trucks, on semis. And then when I started my trucking company, I was in a panic to get it going quickly because it was, long story short, I had to get it off the ground fast because I had people sitting that needed to go to work. So I just kept the same name, and that way I could use the bank accounts and everything from the good shop on the trucking company. So, and it's been that well since 2013 when I started it now, almost
Yeah.
10 years ago.
So Jamie Hicks has a good question here. Of all the folks at No Name Nationals, what made the two of you link up? So I think I got that ball rolling.
You did?
At my work, I have a lot of time to sit at a computer and watch YouTube channels or just play on the computer. So No Name Nationals last year was coming up, and Perpetual Projects, their channel showed up on my feed for some reason, and they had a Dodge, a pickup, and there wasn't a lot of trucks that I knew of that's going to be at No Name Nationals, so I got to watching their channel and just kind of binge watching a little bit, see what their truck was about, because I was actually looking for somebody to, I guess, call out, but not
Yeah.
necessarily call out, because I'm not the type of guy to call anybody out and be super competitive. I just wanted somebody to just, if we can kind of link up and have something going together and put on a show, which we both, me more than you, probably failed at that at the No Name Nationals. But
I would say we both failed the same.
yeah,
You at least got to do the burnout competition.
But what got us connected was I got to watching Travis and Amber in their truck, and everything they were doing with their Dodge and the time slips and everything they were doing was almost paralleled to what I was doing with my truck. And I thought, man, this is great. And so I found their email address on their YouTube channel, and I just sent them a random email saying, hey, I think it was just, here's my phone number, or I can't remember how I asked you to respond back to me, but
I think you sent me your phone number.
yeah, and and Travis called me back. Didn't know who I was getting a hold of or who, we didn't know each other.
Yeah.
So we started talking, and I think we immediately hit it off. And
we did. I was gonna say, I think the first time I called you, we just BSing about the trucks. We were on the phone for probably 2 hours, and I'm like, I don't remember what was going on that day. I'm like, I gotta go.
Yeah, I was like, I think it was at least 2 or 3 hours. Of course, I work night shift, so it was during the day. I was off. And I get kind of in that. Well, I don't have anything to do, so whoever I'm talking to on the phone doesn't have anything to do either. So, I just kind of ramble on. But yeah, we talked for at least 2 to 3 hours that first time, and immediately hit it off. And it just escalated to a really good friendship from there, because even when we met at No Name Nationals, we never met each other in person, and even then when we met in person, it's like meeting an old friend.
Yeah, I agree with that. So you gotta catch up on the chat.
Oh, I gotta catch up on the chat. Yeah, I'm falling behind.
But there's not a lot of comments. It's just what the comments are. Starting with quality control.
I'm not sure which one you're talking about. Quality control.
Yeah. Quality control said drive shafts.
Oh yeah, drive shafts. We have that in common.
Then Mongrel Garage said drive shafts, and Richard said it was love at first drive shaft. And then quality control said once you build a drive shaft together, it's forever.
Yeah, and we do have that experience.
Yeah, we did.
You know, the No Name Nationals experience just, I guess, solidified our friendship in what we got going on now. I mean, we're doing lives together now. You've been to my place, and we've met up a couple times on your travels. Hopefully,
Yep.
one of these days we can make it your direction and meet up with you on your turf. But yeah, it's been awesome what this YouTube thing has got us to. I'm not trying to cut that off. Trying to keep up with these comments because they're okay. So Steve, this is another question, I guess, for me. Yeah, the SM465, that transmission, I'm not gonna say it's indestructible because I've mangled my fair share of them, but uh, they use them in truck pulls. You know, I've seen trucks with 800-900 horsepower pulling a 40. I don't know how much the sleds weigh sometimes, but uh, in truck pulling, they'll use a stock 4-speed transmission, and they hold up fine. Now, eventually, maybe I'll have to do some upgrades, like a better input shaft, something like that. But there is, if I have to upgrade that SM465, which I'm keeping, I'm gonna have to dive into the truck pulling world for the better parts, because in the drag racing world, nobody uses them, obviously. But yeah, the SM465 will handle quite a bit. Yeah, dudes with wrenches. Yeah, it handles everything, almost everything.
So
Now,
what have you broken the SM465?
well, the one in my crew cab, at one time I was down to granny low in fourth gear in reverse. So I'd have to drive it. I'd have to run up about 5,000 RPM to shift into fourth. Then now I've rebuilt it, and I don't remember what it was. I'd done something stupid, and now second gear, if I decelerate in second gear, it'll pop out. So they're not indestructible. In this case, I'm not sure what's going on with it now. It's been like that for a while. Just deal with it. But
is that normal wear and tear, or is that because of the input, the power input? I mean, everything wears out eventually.
Well, everything wears out eventually. I know the current issue is I downshifted when I shouldn't have, almost over revved the engine, and it popped out at first or second gear, and it's never been the same since. I don't know if I've been a shift fork or messed up the synchronizer or what I've done there, but the first go round, I don't know how many miles that transmission had on it when I put it in the truck. So, you know, I would say that was normal wear and tear. But let's see, I'm gonna try to keep up with the tracks. I'm getting way behind. I'm gonna say we, because it's me.
I actually did try to put a chat on the screen, and I can't do it from this end.
Yeah. All right. So Jacob with Busted Grill Garage. What event are you most looking forward to the upcoming year? Well, I think we went over this, not last week, but maybe a week before, but we'll recap. What are you looking forward to the most this year, Travis?
Hands down, No Name Nationals. I think if it's half as good as it was last year, it's gonna be an awesome time.
Yeah, I second that.
It's gonna be better for me this year because last year we didn't really talk to a lot of people. Like we knew a few people, and we had a couple of people that we knew there. But I feel like this year we're, friends with a lot more people there than we were last year. Like we really only knew you and Buff when we got there, and then we met a bunch of people that and But now we've talked to so many people that are going to be there that it's going to be like you said, like a family reunion. There's so many people that we've talked to on YouTube, in videos, outside of videos, on the lives, that it's that, yeah, hands down, No Name Nationals is the one that I'm looking forward to most this year.
Yeah, I will second that. I mean, I've got 3 main events that I'm kind of really focusing on this year. No Name Nationals is my top one. I'm looking forward to. The next one I've got coming up, which I've never been to, is the truck gathering in Oklahoma, which I know you guys are going to it too.
Yeah.
That's gonna be another big one. And then the Missouri C10. I've got the name wrong, but it's the C10 truck show in Springfield, Missouri. I went to the one last year. This year is going to be even better. It's a show and cruise, and then they're also going to have a chassis dyno there. So I'm really looking forward to that. But that's also in September. So September's going to be a busy month if I let it, because actually I put stuff in my calendar as it comes up. And every weekend in September, I have something I could go to, but the 2 main ones is No Name Nationals and the Missouri C10 show and drive. I don't know why I can't remember the actual name of it, but anyways, that's my second one I'm looking forward to.
That's a good
okay,
one.
Yeah, and so for me, man, I don't know. I've actually thought about this question. If I could go back and order one, I can't nail it down. I really cannot nail it down. It would be hard, but I really think it would be I don't know what year, but it'd be a short bed, half-ton 2-wheel drive with a 454. The colors, man, I can't really. I actually want to say orange and white.
Yeah.
But my years is between 73 and maybe 79. But it would probably be a short bed with a 454, heavy half or big 10, yeah. But to actually have the actual truck in my mind, it's hard to really say, because I love so many different ones. But like to have the actual hot rod one, I guess that would be it. So, but I'm going to ask Travis the same question. Maybe not be a square body, but if you could go back in time and like go to any dealership, no matter what the brand, what would you order?
Oh, anything that I want. Well, I'm gonna limit it to trucks, because I mean, obviously, I guess probably I would think a lot of the Mopar crowd, I would probably want something in the early 70s that's Hemi powered. But if I was gonna do a truck, I think I would do a Warlock, which if you don't know what that is, and I could have this wrong because I'm not all knowing like you are, but I'm pretty sure a Warlock was a big block step side short bed 4-wheel drive Dodge pickup
Black.
in the late 70s, and they're black and with
Yes.
gold trim. I think if I could order anything, if I could go walk somewhere and get a brand new Dodge truck right now, I think a Warlock would be what I'd get.
Yeah.
And I know somebody who has one, but he'll never part with it.
Yeah.
And it's a project.
Yeah, that's of course, if anybody's watched me for any length of time, I'm a closet Mopar fan. And so I do know a little bit about the Mopar trucks, and the Warlock is actually at the time was probably one of the fastest production vehicles at the time.
I think I don't know about when, because the Warlock I think was before the Little Red Express. I know in the years the Little Red Express was built, it was the fastest production vehicle, like faster than the Corvettes and everything else, because they got away with not having all the emission stuff because it was a truck, and that was before they caught up with putting emissions on trucks.
Yeah, and see that's where the when I mentioned a Big 10 half ton, is that was Chevrolet's way of dodging the emissions stuff on a half ton. they put a heavy enough suspension and brakes on it to where it got just over the 6,000 pound threshold for the GVRW to not have to have emissions on it.
Yeah.
Actually, my stepside Squeaky, he's a Big Ten truck. The VIN, the fourth digit on the GMs for regular half ton is a 1, but the fourth digit on a Big Ten or heavy half, Big Ten is Chevrolet, heavy half was GMC, but the fourth digit on the VIN was a 4 for a heavy half or Big Ten half ton. So a little bit of square body knowledge there for you. Yeah, okay. Ugly Truck Experience is helping me out here. C10 Cruising Show presented by Missouri C10 Addiction. That's the show I've been having a hard time getting the words out about.
I can kind of understand that.
Yeah, it's a lot with my little mind to keep up with. Richard's teasing me. I think he's teasing me with the truck he's been showing me pictures of. His crew cab he just bought. Okay, Steve Hayden, are we planning on some shakedown runs before No Name Nationals? Any quarter-mile goals? Travis?
Yes, I don't want to go to No Name Nationals with an untested truck this year.
Yeah.
I really don't want to take Thrasher home again. So yeah, I'm planning on some shakedown runs. Quarter mile goals. We don't have a quarter mile track within a reasonable driving distance to us, but my 8th mile goals are, I really think that I can get into the high 7s with just getting everything that it currently has working right. And then I don't even know what to expect. I'm hoping probably low 7s once I spray it. Maybe squeak out a high 6. I don't know. I don't know what 150 shot will do on that truck. My hope. I know because it's run at 803 in the 8th, and it was not right. It has lots of room for improvement there. So I'm thinking maybe we could get like a 780 or so the way it is, and then see what spray does. I don't have any idea what to expect there.
Yeah. And pretty much the same for me. I plan on hitting the track as many times as I possibly can this year with the truck, with the big block, or when I get the 339 going, get that tested before we go to No Name Nationals. And same here with the quarter mile times. Now my local track, we can go quarter mile, but No Name Nationals is 8th mile. Everywhere else is 8th mile. So I'm actually just going to kind of focus on 8th mile times. And I'm in the same boat as Travis. I want to low to mid 7-second range is where I'm shooting for on 8th mile times.
Is that with the spray or before you spray it?
Either way. Let's see. Yeah. Trying to go through the comments here. I'm falling way behind. How many miles you go between fuel stops? That depends on which truck. Hey, Streetcar Chronicles is in here. He just got done doing the dishes. Oh, Richard Pratt says the side piece is 56 Chevy truck. Okay. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, Streetcar Chronicles says pill it to kill it. Yeah.
I
spray it till you make it.
The pill for the RPM chip, the one that's in there will kill it. If it hits that chip, the motor is going to be all over the track. I think currently the box has a 7,200 RPM chip in it. If it makes it there, it's definitely, and it will get the right one before we try spraying it. I really should have done it before we went to No Name Nationals because I did look. I think when the drive shaft broke, the recall on the tack said 6,400 ish. So, we'll definitely be getting a different chip for the MSD box this year.
Yeah, I set my rev limiter for. Of course, I got the 2-stage box. I set my my max rev limiter for like a couple hundred RPM more than I really ever want to spin the engine. So a safe margin there, and then hopefully shift before that, and then of course my 2-step is I'm still trying to figure out exactly where I want my 2-step. Okay, what we got here? I'm down. I'm down for anything. Yeah, I mean, and for me, something like that, I'm down for it. It really doesn't matter who wins or loses. I just want to have fun with it. It'd be a great show. I mean, I'm not sure exactly what the logistics of that would mean. If you can make it to No Name Nationals, let's line them up. Let's have some fun. Surely, I'm for sure by No Name Nationals, I should have the 339 going. By No Name Nationals, that is my goal. But it's still slow going because I've got all sorts of other stuff going on, but and I'm trying to take my time with it. But I know the Oklahoma show in April, it's going to be the big block, which it's mainly going to be a truck show, and they're on Friday night they're going to have a poker run. That's going to be fun. I've never done a poker run before.
I haven't either. I've never been in a car show before.
I've been to a couple local ones, and they're a lot of fun. I mean, it's kind of like No Name Nationals in a way. You just get to hang out with people that are there for the same reason you are. But I know Travis well enough that we're a lot alike that even going to a show, it's hard for us to get out of our shell. I don't know how. I'm not a people person in real life. Well, I am, but I'm not. Once you get me out of my shell, you can't get me to shut up. But
yeah,
it takes a lot for me, and to just walk up to somebody and start a conversation with them out of the blue.
Not me either.
Yeah, Ugly Truck Experience. Emily and Jeremy, or Jerry, not Jerry. At the truck show last year in Springfield, that's where I met them, and we were all standing around. The whole group was standing around at an awards or a giveaway thing. They were giving out prizes and stuff. And I looked over my shoulder and I happened to see their T-shirts, and it said UTX on YouTube. I'm like, oh, there's YouTubers. So I told Mrs. Squareby, I said, hey, there's other people over here that's got a YouTube channel. She said, well, you got to talk to them? I'm like, no. like, so we just kind of sat there, and I kept looking over my shoulder, trying to read their shirt, but the only one I could read the most was Emily, and I didn't want to be awkward and like Jerry get mad at me because I'm looking at his wife's, front side, and I'm like trying not to be weird, but I'm trying to read their shirt, trying to see what's going on there, like. So I'm like, this is why I'm here. This is why I'm at these events, is to meet people. So I sucked it up and just walked over to them and started a conversation with them. And they're the same way. They're not, the type to really like reach out and, but taking that first step is what it takes sometimes, just to, meet these people and start a relationship with them, and I've showed up to their shop unannounced a couple times, and they're great people. They've got an awesome channel also that shows a lot of good stuff, a lot of LS swap stuff. So, and regardless of my actual feelings upon that, which it's not as bad as what I let on sometimes. There's nothing wrong with an LS swap, but I give them a lot of grief about it. But they have a lot of really great information on what they do in their shop. And Jerry's been doing mechanic work all of his life. That's all he's really done. So he's got a lot of information that I learned from that I don't know from my experience. And it's great to have those people, to know them. But getting out of your comfort zone is what this YouTube thing has really helped me with. Yeah. Going back to this comment, Ryan says, shots fired. Yeah. Let's do it.
I thought I turned this
Oh,
off.
Shelman says, put dually tires on Squeaky for that race.
That would be.
I think that'd be counterproductive, but it put on a good show.
It'd be interesting. Now, if you put dually tires on, would you put 4 slicks on it?
I don't know. I've got options.
Yeah.
Yeah, reloading cities in Minnesota. So think about doing No Name Nationals. Do it.
Do it. Yeah,
hey,
it's worth it.
Set your goal. I don't know where you're at as far as subscriber count. If you're over the 500, you got that covered. As far as logistics and being able to make it there financially, just set a goal. Set a goal to make it there. You will not regret it.
Guaranteed.
And if everything works out right, we can line up our Grand Elo 4-speed trucks and just have a blast. Let's just have a lot of fun. Oh, well, shucks. Yeah. Jerry and I are kind of a lot alike because I'm particularly not a people person. I dislike a lot of people, but I usually try to keep it to myself and not worry about it. But yeah, now I will say, and I think Jerry would say this too, that we don't see eye to eye on everything, and that's fine. And same with Travis and I.
No, and I think that not seeing eye to eye is what creates interesting conversations and makes everybody. The thing there is, and I get this from you, and you just have to be willing to look at and accept that everybody doesn't have to have the same opinion as you do. And I think that's what a lot of people should understand, that just because somebody disagrees with you doesn't mean that you have to hate them.
Exactly.
They don't have to have the same. Everybody doesn't have to have the same opinion or the same feelings on anything.
Well, and it goes beyond just opinions. It goes beyond it. It goes to experiences, because you and I both are a lot alike, but we've had different experiences with the same situation.
Yes.
So, and I guess we form our opinions upon that situation differently because of our, our experiences with that. But that doesn't make either one of us right or wrong.
No.
And we could still discuss it and either learn from each other or say, well, hey, that's just not something we're going to bring up again.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just part of that's part of a human relationship.
Yes.
I think this is Jerry speaking from Ugly Truck Experience. He's much better looking than me. Yeah, I will admit that. Yeah, Shellman's. I'm still trying to catch up with the chat. I mean, we're probably losing people because I'm not keeping up.
Well, I think you're almost to the end there, unless mine's not refreshing.
I don't know. 2,000-pound advantage. Now, what would be cool, which I don't know if I'm willing to take my crew cab there to run it down the track and possibly break it. But I've got my crew cab with the 468 big block and 4-speed. That'd be a fun run too.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. Ugly Truck says, yeah.
That's what I was waiting for.
Yeah. Well, I will admit, I do have one particular build in mind eventually that I do want to do an LS swap in for a square body. So, I mean, it's not completely out of my thought process. It's just, it'll be a special kind of build. And like I said, I really don't see that's a bad thing like I let on sometimes. I'm a big block guy, or an old school small block or big block guy. But the LS swaps, I 100% get it. It's the same idea that's the reason why small block Chevys have been in everything for the last 60 years or however many years, because it's an easy, economical swap. Same thing with an LS. It's an easy, economical swap, and there's nothing wrong with it. I like to have fun with it. That's being an adult. I'm not sure who he's talking about. Maybe, I don't know if he's talking about either one of us.
I think he's talking about the difference of opinions and that.
Yeah. 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 I'm very, very bullheaded, and my opinions are hard to change. But then again, like you said, I'm an adult about it. If I argue a point, it's either because I'm really, really adamant about it, or, well, one of three things. I'm really, really adamant about it and really stuck on it and really trying to prove a point to somebody. But that's very rarely the case, because usually I'll just shut up and not say anything, because it's not worth my time to argue just for sake of argument. Number two would be just to have fun with it, just kind of banter back and forth, kind of like I do with the Ugly Truck Experience or anybody else about the LS swap. Or, if I really say anything about it, well, I guess it's just 2 points. Either I'm really adamant about it, or I'm just having fun with it. Other than that, I'm not going to argue with anybody, even if they're wrong, and I know they're wrong. All I got to do is state my side. If they don't want to believe it, I'm not going to change their mind. I can just state my opinion and go on.
Yeah, and I agree with you there. It's most of the time, it's not worth arguing with somebody and getting in a heated argument over one thing or another, because it really doesn't matter. What somebody else is doing doesn't affect me, and if they're doing it wrong now, if it's somebody that I'm close to, or I have an opportunity to maybe keep somebody from getting hurt or something, I might try to help them. But if it's just not relevant, doesn't matter, they're just wrong about something, and I could be wrong too, but I believe they're wrong about it, I just let it go, because it's not, I might say something, but beyond that, it's just not worth it. It's just not worth the blood pressure rise.
Yeah. Buck Does It says he's been thinking of a Nidlak 4200 6-cylinder and 68 C10 and a 300 tree. Well, I'll just make my suggestion about that 3-speed. Now, before I say this, I'll just say what I'm going to say, or was going to say, is those 3-speeds are not very strong. But this guy over here and other circle track guys could probably say different. I mean, they could be built to be strong. I just don't know if
We didn't
they'll
really test
handle.
them that much. I mean, we put a lot of horsepower through them, but they never really got beat on to say. You know, like you weren't.
Yeah,
The clutch that was in my car was this big, and
yeah,
it was basically on and off, but you couldn't like rev it up and spin the tires because it would just tear the clutch out of it.
yeah.
So, I mean,
I guess it'd be a circle track strong versus drag racing strong is two different things. Because circle
totally.
track, you put it in a gear and leave it in a gear for the most part.
Yes.
Drag racing, you're jamming. So yeah, like Richard said, they're just used for final drive. Yeah,
And a few of the guys in the lower horsepower classes run them in second gear, but we ran them in high gear, so they were locked in in high gear the whole time. So
yeah, it would definitely be a sleeper. Now I'm on board with the engine choice. I just think that the transmission choice, there be I do like the idea of a 3 on the tree, because that's someone kind of like I'm doing with this thing. No one expects anything out of someone with a granny low 4-speed in it.
So enlighten
but
me. What's a Nivlac 4200?
well, Nivlac, they were one of the ones at No Name Nationals that had that. I think it was a red Datsun body. I can't remember, but they had a 6-cylinder, 4200 6-cylinder in it.
Oh,
I wouldn't say it's turbo. I mean, they're the American, what do they call them, Bavaros or something like that. One of the you can get a lot of horsepower out of these 6-cylinders, and
okay.
so it would be an excellent sleeper. I just think there'd be a better transmission choice than the Saginaw 3-speed. Okay, so Timmy Forget, he's new here, needs more information on these No Name Nationals. Take it away, Travis. I'll dump it on you.
Thanks. So, No Name Nationals is it's an event. It's a racing event that is going to be in its second year. Last year was the inaugural year. This year will be the second annual, and it's just where a bunch of YouTubers get together and we meet up, and it's going to be in Sikeston, Missouri again. You have to have 500 subscribers to race. You don't have to have any subscribers to show up and be a spectator. And it's just all the stuff that we built on our channels, and we go out there and there's a race. I haven't heard for sure yet, but I imagine there's going to be a burnout competition again this year. There's monkey bike races, and what that is just like the little Coleman, what is it, a 100 CT little lawnmower
Something
engine
like
goat bike, and they just race them down the track. And there's not a lot that you can do to them except a lot of I think most of them were mostly cosmetic upgrades, and it's last year for us, it was a couple of passes down the drag strip and then a whole bunch of wrenching to try to get back down the drag strip.
Yeah.
And if you're not familiar with the channels, which you're new here, so Chad, he broke his drive shaft on the big end on the first pass, and then I got one more clean pass. Yeah, there's his drive shaft. I don't have my parts handy. I got one more clean pass, and then I broke the straps on the U-joint on the rear end on the third pass. And then we spent the rest of the time trying to get our trucks to run. Chad was able to get his back together with some well pipe to do the burnout competition. But it's just a lot of fun. It's just hanging out. I mean, for us, or for me anyway, it's not about the racing. It's just about the good time and the hanging out and coming together with other people that are like-minded and doing the same thing that we are, and just having a blast, having a good time.
Yep. And that's the thing is, I think even though our failures were great, and on your case, numerable, if it wasn't for our failures, I don't think the first No Name Nationals would have been as eventful for us. It wouldn't have been as memorable.
No, definitely not.
And you know, you had multiple breakages. We built your drive shaft, rebuilt it, got you back on the track, and you guys made a parts run and all that. I rebuilt my drive shaft, went to the scrap or the steel yard, the local steel yard, got a piece of pipe and cobbled up a drive shaft and some U-joint straps just to make the burnout contest. And that made it even more fun than if we were just competing down the drag strip. And that would have been fun. That was my ultimate goal, but that didn't happen. But I think what happened made it more memorable. So
Absolutely.
And there's a lot more cases other than ours like that at this event. It's not just a drag race. It's not just a car show. It's not just any one thing. It's an opportunity for YouTube channels, either small or big. It doesn't matter. To just show what you've got going on in your channel. We had anything from Jay with Irish Outlaw Garage had his Oldsmobile or Pontiac ambulance hearse slash whatever it was in its heyday that he drug out of the woods, got it running, and took it down the drag strip. It had Buff's Garage bring an old Pontiac from the weeds with airbags, an LS swap, not running when he pulled it up to the No Name Nationals. You guys and several others chipped in to help get his car to actually run and drive on its own at the event. And that right there really shows what the event is about. It's about the community of YouTube creators coming together and enjoying each other's content. And it's not just about the racing. So if you don't have a race car, don't worry about it. It's not just about the race stuff.
Well, yeah, and a lot of the stuff that raced wasn't race cars.
I mean, that's what I'm trying to do with this truck. But
yeah, that's more of a race car than the ambulance was.
Yeah, and then you've got anything from, like I said, the ambulance to Redbeard's.
Oh, that's a race car.
That car was the baddest car there, and it proved itself. But yeah, it was the whole extreme of stuff. So it doesn't matter what you have on your channel. Bring it to the No Name Nationals and show it off and enjoy the community. That's the biggest thing about it.
So we got 2 minutes left. Steve,
yeah.
My AFSC was 2A5X2. I was I think that's right, or 4X2. I don't remember. I was ComNav. I worked on the airplanes. I did the communication navigation systems on the planes. Heavies.
Yeah.
And then this would be a good one to continue in the after hour show. Ugly Truck says, what advice would you give someone who's never raced at an event like that? In one word or less, test.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to. Yeah, because we've only got 1 minute left of this actual broadcast show, whatever you want to call it, and then we're going to be going to the after hours. So I think Quality Control has got the link up there to the after hour show. Now, in the after hours, we will invite others to join in live, and we'll just kind of continue this conversation in the after hour show here in just about 30 seconds.
Mohawk, you're welcome.
Yeah. Irish Outlaw Jay says, just have fun. That's the biggest. I really want to get Ugly Truck Experience to go to No Name Nationals. I'm working on them.
Yeah, that's a good one from Irish. Just have fun.
Okay, yeah, that's the one you was touching on. Like I said, it's not really about the race. It's just about the experience and showing up and having fun. So we're going to end this off. I appreciate everybody watching. If you would,
Thank you very much.
jump on over to the After Hours Live. Thanks to Travis and Amber at Perpetual Project. And this show at 7 will be on their channel next week at Tuesday, 7 p.m. So we're going to jump over to the After Hours. Give us a few minutes and we'll switch over.
Thank you, Mohawk. See ya.